Good evening and welcome to the April 3rd, 2018 Ogden City Council meeting. We appreciate all of you being here. It's really nice to have the chambers this full, and so thank you all for coming. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present, with the exceptions of Councilmember Stevens, who is asked to be excused, and Councilmember White, who is with us in spirit and on the telephone. So Councilmember White, you want to say hello?
Hello there.
Okay, so we will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and Vice Chair Nadolski will introduce that for us.
Thank you, Chair Heyer. Thank you, Chair Heyer. I've asked President White to lead us in the pledge. If you'll come to the mic, please.
Join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, if you would please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, there is a little agenda remodeling today to do, so Vice Chair Nadolski, would you make a motion for us?
Please, Chair Heyer, I'd make a motion that we amend the agenda to move item number 5 ahead of items 4A through 4E.
Second.
Sorry.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Nadolski, seconded by Councilmember Blair, to reorganize the agenda, putting item 4 ahead of number 5. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, so that will put the Junior League of Ogden request to be on the agenda up next. And so whoever's going to do this for us, why don't we turn some time to Vice Chair Nadolski? He's got some introductions for us.
Appreciate that. So as I make this introduction, I'll just share this introduction and I'll share a story. It was a couple of months ago. The timeline's not exactly accurate in my mind, but I was sitting here in this seat and I got a text message from my wife, Janie, who's here in the front row. She's a member of the Junior League of Ogden. And the text message said, when you're done with your work on the city council, you really need to come to a meeting here at the Art Center. It's a meeting that's being held on this human trafficking initiative for the Junior League of Ogden. And, as city council meetings often do, it's running late. We're exhausted. We're burning through a lot of information that's, wearing us thin late into the night. And, maybe I'm not super excited to extend my evening, but I do what I'm told. Right, honey? But as communities are built, that's how things are done in Ogden. Things are happening down the road from where things are happening here in the chambers. And so we wrapped up our business here. I went down the street to the Art Center, and I walked into the basement, and the place was packed. It was standing room only. And this group of women who are in the chambers here today and many others were down in the basement, and they were absolutely captivated in this presentation by some representatives from the Attorney General's office on this issue of human trafficking. And now I knew what I was going to see. I knew the topic at hand, where I was going. I did not know the topic at hand. I did not know what the topic was, really. But what I learned really changed my mind. And I wanted my peers and my colleagues here in the council and others throughout the community to hear what I had heard that night. And I'm happy to see that the Junior League of Ogden is here tonight to share that message and the work that they've been doing with us here tonight. So it's with that I welcome Cindy Reinhardt. They've asked to be on our agenda tonight, and I'm very pleased to see her here to share their message with us. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair Nadolski, and thank you, members of the council.
council staff, and the city administration for allowing us to be here this evening. My name is Cindy Reinhardt, and I am here on behalf of all these amazing women behind me, the Junior League of Ogden. They're all wearing red. If you didn't already pick up on that, that's kind of our color. That's what we do. For those of you that don't know, the Junior League of Ogden is a nonprofit organization of women who desire to make sustainable improvements in their communities. And these improvements are a result of the personal development and the leadership training that we provide to our members through the organization. For more than a century, the Junior League across the nation has been on the forefront of social reform. They've identified local community problems, areas of need, and finding solutions. The Junior League in Ogden has been an active part of this community for the last 60 years, and we have helped to implement and develop programs that have had positive impacts on our city. Programs like the Union Station Restoration, the Ogden Nature Center, Weber County Guardian Ad Litem, the Women's Health Connection, and the Oasis Community Garden. This is what we do. We look into the projects that our community needs, we invest our time and energy, and then we move on to the next project. About 3 years ago, we started researching what that project might be for the League and for Ogden in particular. And we were a little shocked at what we found. What we discovered was the growing problem of human trafficking in our very own backyard. Now, I had the privilege throughout the majority of my 20s to work with organizations around the world who are battling trafficking crimes. But we were surprised to see the impact that it was having on Ogden and how close it really was. Human trafficking is a growing industry. It makes an estimated $150 billion a year. It is second only to drug trafficking, but I believe that that will be surpassed shortly, and there's a very simple reason for that. Drugs you sell once, a human you sell multiple times. Notable organizations estimate that over 25 million people worldwide are trapped in this modern form of slavery. However, many experts believe that that number is actually greatly reduced and that it's closer to over 40 million worldwide. Since 2012, over 400 victims of trafficking have been identified in Utah. From 2015 to 2016, there was a 77% increase in total trafficking cases, a 67% increase in labor trafficking, and an 81% increase in sex trafficking here in our very own state. And most startling to me, as an employee of the Attorney General's office, was that the discovery that the majority of the trafficking cases that are handled by the Secure Strike Force, 80% of the caseload comes from Weber County. Now, to be fair, part of that is that the Ogden Police Department has been trained. They know how to recognize signs of human trafficking, and they respond accordingly. And additionally, there is a special agent from the Attorney General's office in our city that works with the OPD to help bring this to light. But at the end of the day, 80% is 80%, and that's terrifying. That brings us to the League and what our role might potentially be in this issue. We are not police officers. We recognize that we can't bring law enforcement and justice. We are also not clinically trained to be able to provide the aftercare needed for these victims in order to receive the healing that they need in order to transition back into normal life. We can, however, raise awareness and provide opportunities for education and training, which will in turn, I hope, lead to the prevention of our very young citizens being trapped and lured into this very vicious cycle. The Junior League is in a unique position that enables us to leverage our training, our members, our sponsorships, and our connections to host and facilitate trainings for all kinds of groups in the community and throughout northern Utah. We are not equipped to do the actual training. We recognize that. However, we are connected to the Utah Trafficking in Persons Task Force through the Attorney General's office, and we can provide the experts needed for whatever sector is wanting training, whether it's the medical community and law enforcement to local schools and religious leaders. We also have a team of trained volunteers to execute events, as well as partner sponsors who are backing us so that whatever costs may be incurred would come from the Junior League of Ogden and not from the city or our taxpayers. In the long run, it is my hope, it is our hope, that Ogden would lead the way in a collaborative effort on all fronts. Public and private sector schools, the medical community, and passionate community members to show the rest of the state what it looks like when everyone comes together to eradicate such an awful, awful issue. We would like to invite the City Council to come and hear from Utah survivors firsthand. The Junior League is presenting an installation this Friday at the First Friday Art Stroll at Zuka Underground, where we will be presenting the stories of people who've survived human trafficking from our very own state. They will be sharing those stories at 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30, and we would love for you to come and join us. Additionally, moving forward, we simply ask for your support as we move to provide training and education opportunities for leaders all across our great city. And we would also like, if you are interested, or if any of the groups here are interested, to contact the Junior League directly, and we would move in making that happen and setting that up for you. So that is what we are here for today. That's what we're hoping for as we move into this next issue, and we launch our human trafficking initiative as part of the Junior League of Ogden. And I appreciate the time you guys have given us. And when we're done, just so you know, there will be a mass exodus of red. It's not to be rude. We just have a general membership meeting at 7. But with that, do you have any questions for us today?
Are there any questions for Cindy? One that I had is there anything that is needed to attend this on Friday? Do you need a ticket or anything? Or is it
Nothing at all.
just
It's
show
an
up?
open art installation, just like the rest of the art galleries would have open. The doors will be open. You can come downstairs. You'll see their photos. You'll hear their stories. And then they will be there on hand to interact with whoever comes in.
Great. Any other questions for Cindy? Thank you for bringing that up.
Some comments and follow up, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
So when that night in the basement of the art center, some lessons I learned. There are some misconceptions by a lot of folks out there as to what human trafficking is and what it isn't. One thing that I learned is that I used to hear stories about, let's say, prostitution, and I thought that was a choice that some folks were making, and that doesn't turn out to be the case. That's a form of human trafficking. And the circumstances that I learned that night are not circumstances that we share in this forum, but they're circumstances that are shared in different types of training that the Junior League has the ability to connect people in the community with. And it's those kinds of trainings that allow people in the community to be able to identify human trafficking when you see it. And after I was made more aware of it, I think that I would be more likely to identify it in the future. So while we may not be able to discuss it in that level of detail here tonight, rest assured that I learned things that night. And when I hear Cindy asking for support from the city, what I hear her asking for is for our support in learning at that level what human trafficking really is, and maybe more important, what it is not. So you're asking for us to attend this event on Friday night.
Yes.
We'll see what we can do to get members of our council and administration to be there on Friday night. You're asking for support from Ogden City. I am happy to report. And after that night, it's funny how things work in a community like ours. You know, we build our community with people. These people here in this room, all of us. And that night, when I listened to the talk, I remember hearing someone say, but we have a really hard time getting this message to civic leaders, to elected officials, to team members in the administration. Well, Janie was in the room. Janie sent me a text. I left here, went to that talk. Now you're here. Now our fire chief's here listening. Now our city council's here. That's how community works, right?
Yeah.
It was just so happened that next week we had a joint leadership team meeting between the city council leadership and our staff and the mayor and his administration. And I can tell you that the mayor was fully on board with supporting the Junior League on this initiative. He can't be here tonight, but he has assured me since that time that he is still on board and he wants to support this. And I've talked to the fire chief, and I'll let him speak for himself.
I think your mic is not on.
Sorry. My training officer's been given the assignment to get a hold of you. We've been finishing up a significant amount of training right now, but the schedule's being developed, and one of the first and foremost trainings that he's going to be trying to schedule with you is this particular training. Because once again, I think the biggest thing that I was informed from not only Ben, from Ben's boss, his wife, is that is what a problem that this really is, and it starts with just awareness first. And if any of our firefighters can help prevent this from occurring, we'd be more than happy to do so.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think if I could say something, one of the things that came up that night as we were talking about the difficulty in getting civic leaders trained is that often a politician will grab a hold of an issue and make it their issue, and then all of a sudden it's partisan. But this isn't partisan. It's a humanitarian issue. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't know where that came from, but I just hear stories all day long, and it's real, and it's happening in our neighborhoods, and it's scary. And I worry about my kids, and I worry about young girls and young boys who don't know how to pay attention and who don't know what to look for. So, as their leaders, as their parents, it's our responsibility to train them to do that. Excuse me. I'm fine.
I just have a quick comment, if it's okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that this statement and this issue is so powerful, and I'm so proud to be associated with the Junior League of Ogden for bringing this issue to light, because I know, and you all know, that you're speaking for people that don't have a voice or that people aren't aware of have this issue. So I just admire that very much, and I thank you.
Thank you.
I just noticed your red laser today, so,
She's representing.
Yeah.
well, thank you so much. Yes.
Have a comment.
Councilmember Lopez.
So, I think I know where your emotion is coming from, because I'm also getting emotional. So I'm gonna, in my work, I've been getting better about not getting emotional while I'm speaking. So I hope I can do that right now. But in the big problem, macro war problem that we have with human trafficking, a big important subset of that problem that affects our community in particular is the Hispanic community. And this has to do with the human trafficking coming from people being smuggled from Latin America into the United States. Also, people being smuggled from countries across the world. But for obvious reasons, I have a unique affinity to the issue of the human trafficking that is happening from Latin America to the United States. And I've seen that here in our backyard, as you said, I've seen it in our community. I've dealt with some of these problems firsthand. And so I just wanted to thank you for what you're doing, and thank the Junior League, because this hits home for me very, very much so. So thank you very much. Appreciate what you're doing.
Well, Chair Heyer, among your final requests, I think, is that we make sure that we rely on the Junior League to be a connector with those resources. And as we continue to move forward with this commitment to you, and not just to you, not just to JLO, but to the victims and to this initiative and this issue, I would like to propose to the council that we move forward with a joint resolution between the council members and the administration, that we commit to continue our training. I think it's clear that Ogden PD has done more to identify this issue than any other PD in the state, and they should be commended for that. And those members of OPD that I've talked to are very proud of their work on this, and they deserve credit for that, and they're anxious to do more. And I've talked to the chief about this, and he's anxious to do more too, our fire chief. And I've ridden with his paramedics, and they see a lot of things. They go into a lot of homes and help a lot of people, and they're anxious to help. And so I would propose that we ask our staff to begin to draft a joint resolution, and that we come back at a later date and put pen to paper and get to work on continuing to make progress. Does that work?
Yes, that's great. Thank
Is that okay
you.
with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we should salute the Junior League of Ogden for all the good work that you do. You guys are some of the unsung heroes of our town. Thank you for all that you do. Appreciate that very much. Okay, now would be the time if you're gonna. We have a riveting agenda, though. Feel free to stay.
It's going to be fun.
They have good work to do. They're doing good things for Ogden.
Okay, we're going to move back to item number 4 on our agenda, the recognitions. We're going to move to letter A, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Councilmember Lopez, would you present that for us?
Yes, Chair Heyer, it is an honor for me to present this joint proclamation of the Ogden City Council and Mayor declaring April 2018 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Ogden City. Whereas, although all children deserve to experience and enjoy a carefree and innocent childhood, child abuse is a serious and growing problem. More than 20,000 cases of child abuse are investigated in Utah annually. And whereas child abuse respects no racial, religious, class, or geographic boundaries, more than 90% of all abuse happens by a person that the child knows. Sexual abuse is the most common form of abuse in Utah. And whereas preventing child abuse depends upon the efforts of residents to make a positive, substantial impact on the children of today, who will become the leaders of tomorrow, and whereas all Ogden City residents are encouraged to become aware of child abuse within their respective communities, learn how to prevent it, and actively encourage and support parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. And whereas Ogden City encourages individuals, families, and businesses to support Prevent Child Abuse Utah in its important mission to prevent child abuse throughout the state. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell do hereby proclaim April 2018 Child Abuse Prevention Month. In the city of Ogden, we encourage residents to join Prevent Child Abuse Utah in becoming advocates for children to create a society where child abuse is not tolerated. We ask everyone to actively foster a caring community that will help to protect our children and end child abuse and neglect. And Chair Heyer, with that, I would make a motion that we adopt this joint proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Blair to approve this joint proclamation. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. We did fail to make a coordinated effort with Child Abuse Utah, so they will not be here to accept this. We will get that to them at a later date. But we did want to present it tonight so that would be in effect for the City of Ogden through the month of April. The next one is Fair Housing Month, and we've asked Councilmember Blair if he would present that one.
Yes, thank you, Chair Heyer. This is a joint proclamation of the Ogden City Council and Mayor declaring April 2018 Fair Housing Month in Ogden City, and it reads, whereas Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act, which guarantees fair housing for all residents of the United States, was signed into law in April 1968. And whereas the month of April is nationally recognized as Fair Housing Month and a time to reflect on and reaffirm our national commitment to the ideal that fair housing opportunities are available to everyone in the United States without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. And whereas this year's fair housing theme, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, 50 years of opening doors, indicates a collaborative effort of HUD and its housing partners in realizing increased opportunities for every individual. And whereas the state of Utah passed its own Fair Housing Act in 1989, recognizing and affirming that all persons of the state of Utah are free to purchase, rent, finance, and insure their homes without regard to their race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, disability, or source of income. And whereas the City of Ogden welcomes this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the principle of fair housing for all. We are committed to efforts that address discrimination in our communities, and we support programs that will educate the public concerning their rights to equal housing opportunities. We aim to assure every person their right to live free of the fear of housing discrimination. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim April 2018 as Fair Housing Month in Ogden City and encourage all residents to recognize the rights of every citizen to live where they choose without fear of discrimination, intimidation, or retaliation from others. And with that, I will go ahead and make a motion that we adopt this joint proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Vice Chair Nadolski, to approve this joint proclamation. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That also passes.
Kathy Fuentes was supposed to be here, and she's ill.
Oh, and she's ill today.
So we've got Ward Ogden here tonight.
And Ward is here. You want to come and accept this for them? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Ward Ogden. I'm the Community Development Manager for Ogden City, and we work closely with our funding partner, Housing and Urban Development, and over the years have developed a partnership with the state office as well, who helps us with our fair housing responsibilities and initiatives. And I thought I'd just read a quick thing, since it's the 50th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. April is Fair Housing Month, and this year also brings the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly referred to as the Fair Housing Act. Intended to protect buyers and renters from discrimination, the Fair Housing Act was signed into law on April 11, 1968 by President Lyndon Johnson, prohibiting discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, and national origin. On this 50th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act, it's a fitting time to look back and reflect on why it was needed and what has been accomplished through the enactment of the Fair Housing Act. Before the passage of this act, African Americans were prevented from owning a home or renting a home through combinations of red lines, overt deed restrictions, and covenants. Hispanics were often steered into certain areas and found it difficult or impossible to obtain a bank loan due to racially discriminatory lending practices. Today, the Department of Housing and Urban Development partners with agencies across the nation to educate and advocate for individuals and families experiencing housing discrimination. In Utah, the Disability Law Center in Salt Lake City provides free, fair housing advocacy to all of the 7 protected classes and is working with HUD towards ending housing discrimination. So we thank you on behalf of Ogden City and the partners for declaring April Fair Housing Month.
Thanks,
Ward, I have this for you if you want to take it with you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is Ogden Civility Day. This is also a joint proclamation, and we've asked Councilmember Choberka if she would present that one.
I'm very honored. Thank you. This is a joint proclamation of the Ogden City Council and Mayor declaring April 12, 2018 Civility Day in Ogden City. Whereas the Ogden City Council and Mayor recognize the need for civility and an atmosphere of mutual respect in our interactions with our fellow citizens, and encourage an environment where everyone feels safe in expressing their opinions. And whereas the City Council and Mayor represent the community as a whole and recognize the diverse backgrounds and opinions of all residents of Ogden and strongly value all points of view. And whereas civility comes when an individual feels safe expressing his or her own needs, opinions, and beliefs without degrading another person's in the process. There is significant value and strength in a diversity of views and opinions, as long as they are expressed in a civil manner. Civility is integral to the betterment of the community and creating an environment that is inclusive and welcoming to everyone. And whereas incivility is a detriment to the community and its residents, which can impede the fundamental goal of resolving conflicts rationally, peacefully, and efficiently, civility is not achieved when the expression of one's beliefs or opinions is met with personal attacks or insults, or rude, disrespectful, or belittling comments. And whereas Weber State University's Engaged Learning Series has focused on integrating civility into academia and programs to positively impact personal behavior, increase public engagement, and raise awareness. Events such as the Civility Quest have been organized to engage students, faculty, and community in discussion, debate, dialogue, learning, and action around civility. And whereas the Civility Quest kickoff event will be at Weber State University on April 6, 2018 at 11:30 a.m. with students participating. The event will continue in downtown Ogden during the First Friday Art Stroll on historic 25th Street at 6 p.m., where residents will join in. The Civility Quest celebration will be on April 12, 2018 at 6 p.m. at the Ogden Amphitheater to bring the week to a close. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim April 12, 2018 as Civility Day in Ogden City. We appreciate the efforts Weber State University has put forth in helping to bring awareness to this important issue. We encourage residents, businesses, and community groups to participate in this event and promote civility in day-to-day activities. And with that, I will motion that we pass this joint proclamation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Choburka, seconded by Councilmember Lopez, to approve this joint proclamation declaring April 12th, 2018 as Civility Day in Ogden. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Let's see, is Teresa Martinez here? Weber State kind of has driven this for the city, and we appreciate you and all the work that Weber State has put forth to drive this. Thank you.
Thank you. And I really appreciate it being accepted. It's been a long time coming. Weber State has been working on campus, focusing on the theme of civility all year long. And so this is something really exciting that we're able to do with the city. I also want to take a second to thank everyone who has been involved in terms of partnering. So 801 Rocks is here. Ogden Downtown Alliance with Kim Bauscher was here. We have our president here, Chuck White. I met a brand new business today. They're called Deliberate Kindness, and they decided to come today. And I apologize if I'm forgetting anyone else, but I really appreciate all the support that this has kind of culminated into. And I really look forward to the support from the City Council with our kickoff on April 6th. That's at 6 p.m. on 25th Street. And then especially on the April 12th celebration, where we will present the joint proclamation again in front of the city of those who do attend. So I did bring a couple cards that y'all can have if you want. This is what we will be using with the Civility Quest, with the challenge. And so I brought some handouts for y'all if you want to use them. But I really do appreciate the passing of the joint proclamation. And I wasn't sure if we could get a group picture together with it.
I was going to call
but
for that.
I would love to do that.
Why don't we have all the folks from Weber State and come forward that are here for that. We'll just line up here and we'll take a group shot. You're part of this, so let me trade the spots. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, well. So, well, don't forget I'm over there. Okay, now Amina is doing the directing, so listen to her.
Yeah.
She will line everybody up. Some of you short ones kind of come in front. It's me, I know.
Oh, thanks. Be blocked. Don't be blocked.
Weber State. Great.
We will Photoshop Marcia into these pictures later.
Put her on the cheap spot.
Then we can beat her.
Okay, many things to come still. Thank you.
Does President White want to say anything? I would.
Next item.
Hey, Rich.
Yes.
President want to say anything?
Oh, President White. He didn't duck, did he?
He's right there.
Oh, would you like to address us?
For the civility?
Sure.
Yep.
He just wanted to.
She did.
She did.
She did.
We just wanted to know if you did. Well, thank you. Okay, the next item is the Boys and Girls Clubs of Weber and Davis. This is a joint proclamation also. We've asked Councilmember Lopez if he would present this one.
Yes, Chair Heyer. Again, an honor to have the opportunity to present these for the Boys and Girls Club, this joint proclamation of the Ogden City Council and Mayor, declaring April 9 through the 13th of 2018 Boys and Girls Club Week in Ogden City. Whereas Ogden's youth are tomorrow's leaders, and many of these kids benefit from professional youth services to help them reach their full potential. Boys and Girls Club fills the gap between school and home with welcoming, positive environments where youth have fun, participate in life-changing programs, and build supportive relationships with peers and caring adults. And whereas Boys and Girls Club of Weber Davis has 4 organizations in Ogden that provide services to more than 1,000 youth each year, Boys and Girls Club programs take place in schools and community centers and are made possible through strong partnerships with the community, including school districts, teachers, cities, local business, and professionals. And whereas Boys and Girls Club are at the forefront of efforts in academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character and citizenship, these programs help youth graduate from high school, ready to college, trade school, military service, or employment. They teach kids how to become involved in the community, register to vote, and model strong character. And they help youth adopt a healthy diet and make a lifelong commitment to fitness. And whereas nearly 100,000 kids in Utah leave school every day with nowhere to go, they risk being unsupervised, unguided, and unsafe, Boys and Girls Club organizations in our state help ensure that our young people are off the streets, offering them a safe and supportive place to go and provide them with quality programs. And whereas Boys and Girls Club of Weber Davis is celebrating National Boys and Girls Club Week 2018 with the goal of having 275 parents, teachers, community and civic leaders, donors, and business people walk through their doors for a site visit during the year, Boys and Girls Club invites residents to their week-long celebration beginning on April 9th. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Ogden Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim April 9th through the 13th, 2018 as Boys and Girls Club Week in Ogden City. We encourage residents to join us in recognizing and commending the Boys and Girls Club organizations in our state for providing comprehensive, effective services to the youth in our communities. And with that, Chair Heyer, this is passed and adopted this third day of April 2018, and I make a motion that we adopt this joint proclamation as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lopez, seconded by Vice Chair Nadolski to approve this joint proclamation. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that also passes. Now, do we have Kate Bedeau with us today?
Kate is not here, but Cash is here to receive this award. So, absolutely, yes. Yes, coming up.
Come on.
Let's picture first.
Whichever way you would go. Come on up.
This first. Thank you.
How's your hard work? Hi, how are you? How are you? Yeah, thanks for coming to a long time. Hi. Thanks so much for coming, everybody.
Come back so we can
Yeah, come back first. We'll take a picture right here. Thank you.
Okay, come back, get the
Right
picture.
back here. Oh, sorry, I always forget to move my chair.
Sure.
Make room for Chief.
Chief Matthew, we got a spot right for you, there on the edge there.
You don't have to smile. We're going to Photoshop Marsha on your body anyway.
Mark, do you need your...
We're in trouble.
Yeah, you want it?
Yeah, this
Here,
guy.
Mark.
Hold on.
No, wait. We're going to get... Oh, sorry.
There you go. Just stand on that.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you're good.
Now I'm really tall.
Maybe we can get you.
He needs to go to the end.
Oh, look, he's going to stay right there.
You can stand in front of Ben.
That's good. Now hold it. Yeah, this is great exercise.
Cheese.
Just like this.
She's watching. She said. Wow.
Well, that's a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Good job,
She must have
guys.
liked you guys.
Good job reading, everybody. Good job.
Absolutely. I just wanted to take a minute and thank all of you for what you provide for us. Without the resources and the support we receive from all of you, the work that we do wouldn't be possible. And we've got some information packets for you that cover a few things, one of which is our impact in this area. And as Councilman Lopez mentioned, we're serving roughly 1,000 kids a day. But there's a lot of kids, 1,000 kids a year, roughly 250 kids in the Ogden area alone per day. But there's a lot of kids that still need a lot of help in our area. And there's a lot of kids that we're not able to help yet. And these are our kids, because it really does. It takes a village. And what we do, and we truly believe that we are a big part of the answer to solving intergenerational poverty. And we provide these young kids with the knowledge that the reality they know is not necessarily the reality that they need to stay in. And we provide them with the resources and the knowledge and the mentorship to find a way to move past that and reach their full potential. And that's what we believe in. And we appreciate the support you've had so far that has allowed us to make the impacts that we've had. And as you can see from some of the information in the packet, we are making a great impact. And we're serving a lot of kids every day. And the kids here are just one example of that. It's spring break, by the way. It's spring break, and they're still out here to support. Big deal. Big deal. So a couple of things besides my gratitude is on Friday the 13th, we have our food truck festival at the Roy Hope Center. And I know it's not in Ogden. Trust me, I fought for that. We're just looking for a space, and we'll have it in Ogden next year. But our food truck festival is a big fundraising, it's not a fundraising event, it's a thank you event. Where we bring food trucks out, we invite our families, we've got lawn games, and it's just a family fun evening where we say thank you to all of you for the support that you provide and the impacts that we're able to make to our community. So again, that's Friday the 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. and thank you for giving us a full week. We really appreciate it, and if you have the time, please stop by the Marshall White Center any day after school, and you'll see Robert and as well as these kids, and you'll be able to see the kind of work we're doing and the impact that we're having on our kids. So thank you very much.
Gosh. I must say it was great for you to bring these young people with you. It's nice to see them here. They were sitting there with smiles on when I walked in, so they present.
Do any of them like to say anything?
They're all hiding, Too much pressure.
Thank you so much.
All of you have told us to show up. They don't have to talk anymore.
Our next recognition is item E. It's Pallet Club of Ogden, 75th anniversary. We've asked Vice Chair Nadolski if he would make that presentation.
Thank you, Chair Heyer. Councilmember Stevens was going to read this. He is an accomplished artist, which I am unfortunately not, but I will do my best to fill in his shoes. He wishes to be here to do this, but I'll do my best. The Ogden City Council and Mayor proudly recognize the Pallet Club of Ogden for providing the invaluable contributions to the Ogden community. From its inception, the Pallet Club of Ogden has been an integral part of Ogden's artistic history. The club's first exhibit opened in Ogden on November 7th, 1943 at the Utah Power and Light Auditorium. Over the past 75 years, the club has sponsored art classes, plein air outings, costume balls, lectures, and exhibits. The club is open to all artists, from beginner to professional, working in any medium. The club sponsors several juried shows throughout the year and maintains ongoing exhibit venues in Ogden and surrounding cities. Art illuminates our lives and enriches our world. We, the City Council and Mayor, are grateful for the Palette Club of Ogden's support of local artists and thank club members for sharing their work at local art shows and the Ogden Art Walk. Ogden City and all of northern Utah benefit from their exceptional talent. Congratulations to the Ogden Palette Club for celebrating its 75th year, promoting the advancement of community interest in art and the encouragement of local artists. We present this recognition on this third day of April 2018, and I invite Becky Espinoza to come forward to receive this.
And you could say that into the microphone so everybody can.
You can say those kind words on there.
Chief? Yeah,
You're good. You're good. Okay. Would you like to speak to us a little bit?
Did you have
Tell us about your art stroll and
There's people watching online that won't be able to hear what you said. So
I'm not accustomed to speaking, but I'll try. Thank you for supporting our club. 75 years is amazing. For 75 years, people have been dedicated to this, to keep it going, to encourage artists of all levels. That's really an accomplishment. We do have an art stroll Friday night to celebrate our 75 years. We're going to have something really special there. It's a one-time opportunity, and that is all of our scrapbooks from the 1940s that will show all the events the Palette Club had then. And thank you again for your support.
thank you.
for being here? So we now have 2 reasons to go to the art
Oh,
stroll.
we do. Yeah. There's 2 more reasons. Okay. We've done item 5 on our agenda now. And so now we have item 6, approval of minutes of the closed executive session of January 16th, 2018. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you, Chair Heyer. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be accurate. And I would make a motion that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to adopt the minutes or approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Next item is our common consent agenda. This is reappointments and appointments for Planning Commission members. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Chair Heyer, make a motion that we adopt the common consent item as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lopez, second by Councilmember Blair to approve the common consent agenda. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Just in time for tomorrow's Planning Commission meeting, so they'll all be renewed and ready to go. So, next item on our agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding concerns or ideas on any topic. Are there any takers? Welcome. Please give us your name and we'll give you 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Crawford. I'm a professor at Weber State University. And actually, I just stopped by for a few minutes just to, first of all, thank you very much for allowing Jesse Garcia and I to sort of spearhead the public effort to raise funds for the Martin Luther King Cesar Chavez honorary street signage. I'm here really to just kind of give you a very quick update, and we're just barely starting our public campaign on this, and we've had a chance to make contact with several different organizations who have expressed an interest in making their donation. We'll be doing a lot of individual outreach. Just last week, I think it was, we made a presentation before the Utah Coalition of La Raza, their Cesar Chavez annual fundraiser. So we will be reaching out to a variety of organizations as we allow this campaign to go forward. We're kind of giving ourselves at least over the next couple of months or so to do the fundraising. I think our target, I believe it was like $12,000 that needed to be raised to pay for the signage. Is that correct? $12,000, and so we are standing just to say to you that we are well on our way. Probably, I suspect at some point we'll probably do maybe some kind of a press conference to really bring some public enlightenment to this effort, so a broad of the community as possible can participate in this process. So yes, thank you very much. I didn't anticipate speaking, but I thank you for the opportunity to allow me to do that.
Thanks, Dr. Crawford. Appreciate you being here. Anyone else? Going. Okay. Seeing no movement, we'll recognize Chief Matthew, our fire chief, representing the administration today. Any comments?
Two matters of insignificance. One, for a lot of years you've been well versed in an acronym, BRT, and you believe it's to stand for something to do with moving a lot of people rapidly around in the community.
Bus rapid transit. Yep.
Yep. But I've got to just tell you that BRT stands for Big Red Truck. So I just want you to think of that from here on out.
Okay.
Secondly, you will greatly appreciate in your quest card number 17. So now you'll have to read them all. But 17 will be dear and near to your heart.
All right. Thank you.
That's all we have.
Hey, council members, any comments?
Depends on what card 17 says. This bag is suddenly tiny.
You may want to take the time to recite it.
Find it?
It says, write a letter or email, then send it to your local city representative. Your letter must include how civility will improve the community.
Your letter.
I expect we'll hear from some folks.
Means we might
so.
get positive letters. That's nice.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
What, was anybody ramping up to make a comment?
I just wanted to thank the administration for their support of the human trafficking resolution, and thank my peers on the council and the staff for their work helping to facilitate it. And thank Chief Matthew in particular. I know that it's not going to be an easy lift to train up your staff, but really appreciate all you guys' willingness to just, you just heard about it and you're like, that just sounds like what's right. Let's just do what's right.
It's the right thing to do.
Yep. So thank you.
Great. We do have just an announcement that there will be no regular meeting next week. It's been canceled. We're having a council strategy retreat, and that will take the place of the regular meeting. So I guess those of you who are tuning in can take a break next week. So anyway, and I think we had a motion to adjourn by Councilmember Lopez, seconded by
Me.
Councilmember Blair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously, and we are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.